What's going on YouTube? This is 3 Inferno. So the topic I'm here to talk to you guys about today is YCS Kansas City. But before I talk to you guys about that, let's review a little bit about YCS Columbus. YCS Columbus, the top 32 is really interesting to me because of the consistency. 20 plant decks in the top 32 and no Darkhold decks. What I think about that, it's pretty interesting because of how hyped Darkhold was. Some people, there were not really good deck lists for Darkholds, I heard from people at this event, and I also heard like the top players really wanted the consistency of the plant deck, and they also feared they didn't really want to play a Darkhold mirror match because it's sort of hard if you haven't played it yet. Darkhold mirror match is sort of interesting to play against, and it's not the easiest. It's not very fun. So a lot of players didn't want to do that either. And with 3 Space Typhoons running around, they didn't really want to rely on a field spell to fuel their deck. So those are all valid concerns. But going into that now, what are the decks that are going to be at YCS Kansas City? For me, well, plants will definitely be there. There'll still be a fair share, I think, of agents. Agents are still pretty good. Christie is always a good card, and so is Hyperion. So I think agent decks are always going to be there, even though they might not be as represented as at the old events. So the new decks that are probably going to really show up at YCS Kansas City, I think Darkholds will make a strong showing at Kansas City. It's sort of counterintuitive because it didn't do well at Columbus, but because of that, more people are trying the deck, trying to see where it failed, and also they think it's more of a surprise factor, because at Columbus they'd be like, there's no surprise, people are side decking for that thing easily, but since it didn't show up at Columbus really, maybe more people are thinking I might be able to sneak under with Dark Rolls because people aren't signing as much for it or as heavy for it, which just sort of makes sense sometimes. So we'll see how that goes. I still think Dark Rolls is a viable deck type. It's not like as high tier as plants and agents. I think Dark Rolls is just a little bit below that. Dark Smog is actually a pretty good card, which is why I encourage people to main deck 3 Space Typhoons. If you're running plants, I really think 3 Space Typhoons are going to be really useful, or most decks actually. Just because like cards like Dark Smog, that's going to be an interesting card because they get to discard a Fiend type from their hand to banish 1 card from the graveyard. Alright, so that's really good. It allows Dark Rolls to go off another way to go off, so it's pretty useful. It helps set up gates to Dark World as well, so it's pretty useful. And it's a continuous trap from Photon Shockwave, so watch out for that from Dark World players. Another sleeve up their trick. Another deck that I see that's going to be played at YCS is Rescue Rabbit. Rescue Rabbit can be played in a few ways, but the most popular way is the dinosaur one, where you get like Sabersaurus and Cubzools, and you make the level 4 dinosaurs exceeds Logia and Dolka. Actually I forgot which one. I'm blanking out right now. But one of them negates spells and traps, and one of them negates effect monsters. So it's actually a really big deal. Like if they can get those out, it's pretty good lock. Like if they get the spell trap negation and a warning or the effect monster and something like that, it's really good. But I've been testing it and it is a little inconsistent. If you get a big beater over it, it's sort of hard to get over it. It's really hard to get over it. You can't really do it. That's the weakness of that deck. So if you face a Rescue Rabbit deck, one of the most important things is to get out a big beater and just protect it, because it's really hard for them to get rid of it. The one thing they can do is make a Utopian stall, which is sort of okay. That's about it. Because level 4 exceeds the max attack right now that level 4 exceeds have is 2,500. So anything over 2,500 and you're pretty safe as long as you protect it. And another card that I want to talk about that's going to have an impact at YCS Kansas City is Wind Up Zen Mines. It has a level 3 exceed generic. So what you do is it has 1500 attack and 2100 defense. And once returned during the end phase, if it's like Gachi Gachi, if it would be destroyed, you can send one card, one exceeding material to the graveyard instead, and remove one exceeding material. And if it at the end of the turn, you destroy one card on the field. If that effect was activated. So if you let's say you attack into it with your whatever Christia, okay, I'm just naming random things. Christia attack into the Zen Mines. It detaches an XYZ material, and then at the end of the turn, since it detached an XYZ material, you destroy one card on the field. So you pop their Christia. Okay, well, that's a really interesting card. Sort of hard to play around sometimes. Even worse than Gachi Gachi, because Gachi Gachi gains 400. But it's nowhere as powerful as Zen Mines, because Zen Mines can destroy a card on the field. However, if Zen Mines, if there's no opponent's side on the field, card on your opponent's side of the field, you still have to pop a card. So you have to pop your own card. So that's sort of interesting. But there's ways to get around that. You can Kais it, Trishula it, enemy control, steal it, distribute it, something like that. There's a lot of things that you can do. So it's a hassle to play around it, but it's not the hardest to play around. But that makes Tour Guide more broken from after Photon Shockwave comes out, which is why Tour Guide's price will just go up. So if you really need Tour Guides, you should get them, and you don't have any right now, better get them now, because after Photon Shockwave, when Rescue Rabbit comes out, and when Wind Up Zen Mines comes out, Tour Guide will just keep going up, like up. Which is another thing in Kansas City. Tour Guides will be over, I think they'll be over 200. They're about 175 right now, give or take. They'll go over $200. Easy. Like easy after Photon Shockwave. So get your Tour Guides now if you really need them for Kansas City. Otherwise, you're going to be paying a very high premium at Kansas City for them. Alright, and that's all I have about YCS Kansas City. So, oh, and one more thing. I'm not sure if I'm going to go yet. I really want to. The plane tickets aren't very much. It's like $275, which isn't that bad at all. But I'm trying to see if anyone else wants to go with me, and if not, I'll find someone to room with if I go. So I'll update you guys next time about if I'm going to go. And oh yeah, Goyo379 did get the mat. If you go on his channel, he has made a thank you video and a shout out to me. So for proof that he has received it. Alright, thanks guys. Inferno signing out.